Hey guys, welcome back to the Locker Room Podcast. The 2022 year is upon us. I'm your host, Oliver, joined by Lockie.
How are we, mate?
Not too bad. And as really, Sharpie, that's going to come up. And as always, we're joined by Sharpie.
Hello.
Nice little comment there. Thanks for that.
What's coming up? What'd I do?
Yeah, nice. We'll see if it shows up in the recording. Anyway, obviously we're in a new year, so new year means new logo, and as you can probably see, the new logo will be right there, and it's probably gone by now. It's a lot better than our boring old logo. So, Lockie, I don't know if you've actually seen the completed product of it yet, but you'll see.
Yeah, was it the one that you put in our Facebook group that we got?
It's very similar to it, but
yeah, right, yeah.
It's going to be.
Mine was better.
Yeah, of course. There's going to be shirts and everything. There's going to be shirts and everything. So eventually, we'll get to that. But we'll jump into the NBA. So things to look forward to in the NBA for 2022. Do you want to kick this off? We'll go two each if you can. If you want to kick this off.
Two each. Ben Simmons playing a game.
Oh God, yeah. Just take my first one.
Oh really?
Yeah. I can work around that. I have a backup.
I was genuinely taking the piss because I still can't fucking see him playing another game.
Well, I'll touch on that for mine, but you go then. Continue on.
My second one. I reckon there's probably a bit of just a norm, but the finals in this year. I reckon they're going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be who gets through it with the COVID, all this COVID garbage going on. Like it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see where everyone finishes in the standings and who plays who come sort of crunch time in the playoffs and where everyone ends up, I reckon. So I'm really excited for the finals this year. I reckon it's going to be unreal.
Yeah, I've got a similar.
Especially the way the Warriors have come out at the start.
Yeah. And
just
players coming back.
Put fear into the lives of everybody again, like they did for that 5-6 year stretch.
Although Curry hasn't been playing well the last couple of weeks, ever since he broke that record. But
yeah, literally.
Sharpie, what are your two?
Where the Knicks are going to end up in the lottery, and the off season where the Knicks get rid of Evan Fournier. I reckon that's good.
Couldn't agree more, man.
Geez, I didn't put any OKC ones in there. Well, my first one was Simmons returning to basketball, but we'll skip past that. So the second one, I'm going to go three because my first one was taken. So my first one is just the playoffs in general because it's similar to Lockie's. Both conferences are kind of deep this year. Usually maybe the West was stacked and then the East had one or two teams that were good, whereas the East is probably at least 6 teams deep. And so is the West. So, I mean, anyone can really win it. I still have the Warriors making the finals against the Nets, but whether that actually happens, it's just difficult to choose now. And that's like, I would like for the All-Star, we'll touch on the All-Star game later on as well. I'd like that to be going back to East versus West now, that there's kind of an even distribution of All-Stars and ability and everything like that.
Yeah.
Personally, and the second one is hopefully an end to all the 10-day contracts and the COVID protocols and
why
make them dance, Lance?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Why is that?
These people are getting an opportunity to play NBA. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like that, but
it's better than the games being postponed because no team has enough players.
I don't. I like that idea, but I just hope that there's no more protocol in the future where if you're a close contact, you're still playing. I mean, if everyone's vaccinated, but
the way you came off saying that, it sounded like you just had enough of these players that you
didn't no, like it was good seeing like that Sykes played well against the Knicks for the Pacers and he played well against
permanently there. He's been permanently there.
He was off a G League though. He wouldn't have got a role if they had their full team or anything though.
Yeah, he would have.
I don't reckon he would have.
He would have.
But
you're the host of
a podcast. We still won.
No, but I think I like seeing people get their opportunity and seeing players like Greg Monroe and Was it Greg Munro? Yeah, I think so.
Eric
And John Joe Johnson come back and get game time, but I think they
now Gerald
What
Green.
about making Dan's Lance?
Yeah, and obviously Lance scoring 20 points.
What do you have? 30 points yesterday,
and 20 points in the first quarter. I mean, it's ridiculous. But
in 6 minutes, it was crazy.
What a king!
Surely everyone can agree they want it to get back to normal, where it's if you've got I mean,
100%.
Because you don't want to see your star player go out.
Oh, no one does.
Like we haven't touched on Christmas Day because it was a week or so ago, but like the Nets had James Harden versus the Lakers and they still won somehow. But like no COVID, that's Kyrie, KD versus a nearly fully healthy Lakers. Probably would have blown them out, but that's my personal thoughts. Moving on to some predictions for 2022. Lockie, we'll go to you again first.
Oh.
2 again if you can. Otherwise, one will.
And this is NBA, isn't it?
Yes. Oh well, you know what? We'll throw.
No, it's all good.
If you want to throw out one there, you can.
For
do you want me to go while you think?
Playoffs.
Oh, wait. When we say playoffs, do we mean like the final 8 after the playing games?
They'll make the playing games, and then I don't reckon they'll make it through.
Yeah. Okay. When we consider playoffs, then we'll consider they make the play-in but don't make the. Okay. Yeah. We'll do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Sharpie would love that.
My other one. I'm trying to think of who else is actually even like up there with this, but Giddy to make a late push for the Rookie of the Year.
He's starting to hit his strides.
He has a little bit. I'm not saying that he'll win it, but I reckon he'll make a bit of a late push potentially.
What I find interesting, I'll touch on that later. Sharpie,
it's an OKC podcast, isn't it?
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's what the Thunder Knicks are for. Sharpie, your 2 predictions. Sharpie.
The Knicks trade Evan Fournier for Monix, and I think that'll be good. No, that's stupid. I don't know. After saying that at the start of this season, he wasn't going to be anywhere near the Rookie of the Year, Evan Mobley wins Rookie of the Year. Then I don't know, Cavs make the semifinals.
That's a good one.
I don't mind that. They've been balling.
I've got a bit of a boring one. I'm surprised no one touched on the Wizards, by the way, whether they're just a bit of a
pretender.
Mine's a bit boring. So I have the Clippers won't finish top 8, obviously, because Paul George is still out for another month. So they're hanging on.
Kawhi's still out for quite a while too, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm liking that because OKC have their pick no matter what. So hopefully we can get another lottery pick out of that. And
just keep accumulating picks and going nowhere. Good idea.
And we'll touch on this topic again later on, but I don't know if it's not much of a stretch. The Bulls won't reach the finals, but I'm not sure they'll reach the Eastern Conference Finals either. But
holy fuck.
We'll touch
Who
on
the hell is going to knock them out?
We're getting to that. So that's the first thing, but it's that time of the week.
Slugs. Horsey tips.
So his first tip is at Canterbury, race 1, number 8, Paris Dior. I think that's racing tonight, actually. Rosehill, race 9, number 2, Zagallo. And his each way is Caulfield, race 7, number 4, Neighbourhood. Going to the races with him next week, aren't we, Lockie? Get it
correct.
Get a
It'll
few
be dangerous.
Get a few pictures with the man.
We might get a few live reactions from the great man potentially.
Record him getting some wins, probably not.
No, jeez. I reckon nearly every time we've gone to the races, we have done absolutely nothing. So I'm hoping that we pull our finger out a little bit.
That's promising. We'll move on to the NBA talk. So the first discussion is the Bulls. So DeMar hit back-to-back game winners. I think he's the first person to ever do that on back-to-back nights. We'll go to Sharpie. We'll mix up first. We'll go to Sharpie. Do you think they're the real deal to actually be contenders?
I can see it, yeah, but I don't know. It just depends. Lonzo is usually off a lot of most nights, and they're pretty injury prone at the point guard position. So depending on Vucevic as well, the center position is also pretty weak. But they're very good at scoring and that, and obviously defense. They've got a few players that can stand there well, like Caruso. Yeah, but I just don't see him doing much.
No Patrick Williams either.
Yeah,
he's quite a big loss. I mean, they've still got Tony Bradley, who's probably not the best backup center. I think he's the backup center still, isn't he? What do you think,
they
Lockie?
make a play for DeAndre Jordan?
The Lakers don't use him because the Lakers, it just doesn't fit the Lakers. DeAndre Jordan would be useful on coming off the bench for a team that needs a center.
It's because when you
100%.
have him, LeBron, and Westbrook on the court at the same time, it shrinks the floor.
Yeah,
a bit. They only can play two shooters and that two spot up shooters like Avery Bradley and maybe Wayne Ellington. At the same time, you got DeAndre Jordan's always just been a lob threat, and that's about it. But he's done it so well over his career.
Yeah,
that'd be good with Lonzo though. I mean, that'd
be interesting.
And you still got Caruso, who's been in protocol now for a week or so. So, I mean, he's going to come back. Lockie, do you think they're contenders?
I honestly think they do. I was looking at a stat yesterday that I think they were one of the lowest teams so they took the least amount of 3-point shots, but they were like the third most efficient, like the third highest scoring or the third most efficient offense in the league. I reckon come playoff time, I haven't watched a lot of their games. I really need to watch a couple of their games, see how they actually play. But if that's the case, I feel like that'd stack up well come playoff time. But you've sort of got to be able to hit those threes as well to go on a bit of a run in case you are down, to be able to get back into a game or put a game away as well. So it'll be interesting because like Tamar's obviously never really been. Like he's been good, but he's always come up against LeBron and got smacked around a little bit in the playoffs. And it'd be interesting. Like they're a pretty exciting team. Like they're obviously really athletic, and Vucevic obviously can space the floor as a big. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully they can. It's going to be first couple of games after the All-Star break. It's going to be the big test, I reckon, for them to see where they're at.
That's my query on the team. It's like they've technically got some playoff experience. I mean, Vucevic has always been the 8th seed, really, and they get bumped out first round, and then DeMar, like you said, ran into LeBron. The only real experience is Caruso, and I mean, Levine's never been to the playoffs, so, and I don't think Lonzo's been to the playoffs. I don't think he has.
I don't think so.
No.
So I think it depends how much experience matters. I mean, like, look at that East side. I still think that conference. I still think the Sixers are going to make a move. If the Cavs can get back, Rubio's done for the season. So I mean,
they just brought in Rondo, so that's
So
like for like sort of situation there.
I think that it'll be interesting to see whether the Bulls get figured out in a 7-game series. And like I still like their coach Donovan, but I think they'll probably get knocked out in the Eastern Conference Finals, especially if they fall to the 3rd seed, they'll get knocked out in the Eastern Conference Finals. If they can maintain top 2, it'll make it a whole lot more interesting. But
who's going to take it away from them?
Well, currently the Bucs are 2.5 games behind them, and the Nets are 1.5 games behind them. So, and then the Heat are 3 games, and they've still got no Bam Adebayo.
The Heat won't get top 2.
You don't reckon?
The Bucs, I feel like, are the only ones that can get in the top 2.
That whole top 6 is pretty close together, though. And then you got Toronto and everything out the back end. But
I still just can't get a grasp on the year though, because everyone's just there've been so many 10-day contracts and no one's had a full team in. You just can't predict what the teams are going to be like at the end of the year and how they're going to all come together because they haven't been together.
The only team that hadn't had a player in protocol until like last week, I think, was the Jazz, and that when Joe Ingles went into protocol.
Yeah,
He's
because
the first player.
they're in the middle of the friggin' middle of nowhere.
No one wants to go to Utah.
Literally.
All
But
right,
that's the problem, though. Like all those smaller cities aren't going to have as much. Like, whereas you go to LA and all these places, are going to have heaps.
I'm surprised Lakers players haven't got it more. Like they had a few, but I'm surprised LeBron hasn't missed significant time, or Westbrook. Like I know they've been in protocol, but they only missed one game each, I think.
Yeah.
So you think the Bulls can go all the way, serious contenders?
I think so. But yeah, time will tell. I really, really don't know. I think they've got everything they need, but it's just whether they're going to stack up in. Like I said, I think they're, from what the stats are saying, they're going to stack up well in playoff time. But whether it actually does or not, it's going to be the thing. They've got to actually make the shots.
Yeah, Sharpie, and you're on the fence about it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, the Bulls been playing like a playoff team all year. The tempo and energy that they bring, it has been, above anyone in the league. Running fast breaks or hitting threes and all that stuff. I think it's been good for them. Yeah, like I said, it's just going to depend on like Lonzo as well, whether he's going to be on or anything, because they're going to need that for 7 games.
Yeah.
Well, the big worry about the team was the defense. I mean, they've got all the offense they need. It's just they didn't look like they had much defense with Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic. But Lonzo, Caruso, and Jones Jr., I think it is, are making up for it. So, I mean, I'm still, I don't think they'll make the finals. Eastern Conference Finals is iffy for me. So, we'll move on to everyone's favorite player in the league right now, Josh Giddey. Broke the record for the youngest player to ever get a triple-double, and it wasn't just a basic triple. It wasn't a basic triple-double. I'm trying to figure out where it is here. It was against the Mavs, obviously, when SGA was out. So he had 17 points, 13 rebounds, 14 steals. 14 assists, 4 steals.
Statistic moment again there, Sharpie.
Now, I've spoken to Sharpie about this previously, and we'll go to Sharpie first. Do you think it will be broken every year?
No, I mean, there's a big chance of it being broken every year. Like, it's when teams bring in a player like Josh Giddey, he's going to be the man that's going to be doing everything for that team. And they knew that when they signed him. He was a triple-double threat in the NBL. He's a triple-double threat now. It's just that the triple-doubles mean nothing now. That's the thing. It's a special thing for one player and everything. I know, but it's lost
so much more common.
It's lost its meaning to it now. Like it's lost its rarity, if anything. Because it can easily be accomplished by any player, no matter who it is. Like the point guard to up to the center position, whether you're 6 foot tall or 7 foot tall, anyone can do that now. But look, it's nothing to take away from Josh Giddey. He earned it and everything. It would have been better if he got it in a win. But with the players coming through, a lot of them now, especially like you got Paolo and Chet, both of those are triple-double threats for next season. I don't know what age they are. What age they are currently, but there's going to be someone in the next few years of a draft class that can easily just come and take that record.
So Giddey was 19 years old and 84 days. So that's a few years younger than us. I think I don't think it'll be broken in the next year. I think I don't know much about the whole college thing, but is teenagers going straight to, is it one and done now? There's some rule coming through, isn't there?
I think that'll be in 2023. So I think next year or the year after, that's when it will happen.
I still think there's going to be more going to the NBL too.
Yeah.
In the next few years.
So I think it might take a few years to break that record. It won't last very long.
No,
but it'll be there for a few years.
You look at all the people that have had that record. Ben Simmons had that record, I think.
No, he missed a whole year.
Yeah, Lonzo had that record.
Then
Doncic, then LaMelo,
and then Fultz is in there.
Yeah, and then Giddey.
Yeah.
Like that record, those draft classes aren't that far apart. So
yeah, I just think it's because it's such a fast-paced game now. There's so many more shots being put up. You can get that many assists that quickly, but you can also get that many rebounds because they're putting up so many shots.
And he gets a lot of the rebounds because OKC don't have a great deal of big men, and he's the only one. He crashes the boards on offensive.
It's not about the big man getting the rebounds anymore. You know, you look at Westbrook when he was at OKC. It was Steven Adams just giving Westbrook the ball, because when Westbrook got the ball straight away off on the fast break, he was running the floor straight away at about 100 miles an hour.
But that's not really happening with at least Giddey. Like, I don't know about other players.
That was almost like their game plan.
Yeah, that was OKC.
So he could,
Whereas
a lot of those rebounds,
everyone's trying to get the ball themselves. At least at OKC, unless
a lot of those rebounds are contested as well.
Yeah.
I think getting the assist is more impressive because OKC are just absolute garbage.
Thanks.
Yeah.
People actually making shots for him to get assist sharply, I think, is a more impressive stat.
Exactly. Because Josh Giddey doesn't have a pick and roll big with him. JRE struggles to finish at the rim.
JRE, here we go.
Like,
don't diss the man.
That's something you can improve on. You know, it's simple. You know, he did it at Villanova. You know, you can do it now at OKC. So, you know, if he gets someone like a Paolo next year or something, just whether they run it with that or something, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Just thoughts. Franz Wagner was number 1 in the Rookie of the Year, and then I think it was Mobley, Barnes, Cade, Giddey. I was kind of annoyed at it because I thought it should be Mobley, Barnes, Giddey, Franz, and then Cade.
Cade shouldn't be above Giddey, I wouldn't have thought.
Not right now, just because of how many games he's played and everything. And then Franz, he's been good, but the Magic are still 7 wins. I mean, you got to take a little bit of that into account. He's scoring 19 points or whatever, but that's personally me getting angry. But what I find interesting, though, is like Giddey's already won, I think, 2 or 3, the 2 Rookie of the Months so far, because I think there's only been 2 months. Or is October counted 1? Anyway, he's won all the Rookie of the Month so far in the West, and he's probably going to win January because he's had an unreal start again. And there's no real competitor in the West.
Nope.
Does anyone think it's possible that he can win every single Rookie of the Month and then not be Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's something that's probably going to happen. It's going to be talked about. But I mean, would you put Giddey up there with the top 2, Sharpie? We'll go to you first.
Top 2 rookies?
The Barnes and Mobley. Would you put him in that area, or would you put him in the second tier of rookies so far?
Yeah, sure. I'll put him in there.
Where are you, Lockie?
I'd probably just have him under, but he's definitely on his way up. Like, you can definitely see that he can be a top tier, but I don't think he's been consistent enough yet.
Yeah.
Like, he's had some really good games, and he's had some games where he's been a bit same as Cade. Like, Cade's had a few like that too, where he's played really well and he's been.
He had a good stretch of games.
Yeah, he did. Pretty much when you asked for him in fantasy, Sharp, he played really good for like a week after that.
Yeah,
and then he's just been doing nothing since.
Yeah, I think they're both kind of hitting their strides now, though. So obviously later in the season, that's going to happen. We'll move off rookies and everything. Lockie, I'll go to you first. Team that has been the biggest letdown so far this season.
Lakers, 100%.
Yes,
100%. 100%.
I mean,
absolutely atrocious.
They're still in the 8. Technically,
they're still nearly around 500.
They're in the 6.
God, the expectations that people had on them this year with the people they brought in and everything, but yeah, it was a bit sus. I was always a bit like, I thought they were obviously going to be top 2. I think I said before the season started that I thought they were going to win the West, but they're just slow.
Well, I had it as a hot take that the Warriors would finish above them, but I don't think that's a hot take anymore.
No,
that's just common knowledge.
That's legit.
I think everyone.
And LeBron's averaging like what he was averaging when he was like second year in the league, and it's just crazy how he's still doing that. But they're not winning. Like,
and he had a bad start himself. So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and
it's just crazy.
The worst thing is they had the second easiest start to the season, and they've got the third hardest going into the end of the season. So I mean,
yeah,
would take what you want from that, but yeah. Definitely been disappointing.
Hey, what if it wasn't for Malik Monk? They'd be in all sorts.
Well, LeBron loves Malik, apparently. They're going to make a trade eventually for THT. Oh, we've got 10 minutes, apparently. Going to have to...
Jeremy Grant.
True. I don't know how they can get Jeremy Grant, but...
Well, Brian Windhurst said that it's going to possibly to get Jeremy...
All right, so I've cut out again. So anyway, apparently Brian Windhorst said something about Jeremy Grant going to the Lakers. We'll skip past that because I don't think they want to touch on it again. Sharpie, who's been your biggest letdown so far?
I mean, is it obvious? The Knicks.
Well, yeah, I should have said that.
A team that finished 4th in the East last year to now be, I don't know, whether are they 12th or 11th or something. It's just disgusting. You know, it's just showing the regression of Julius Randle after his one good year in basketball. You know, it's been so disappointing to watch. You know, a lot of people were amped up at the start of the year, you know, excited, the Bing Bong movement and everything, 5-1 at one stage. You know, we were thinking we're going to run it back with Atlanta in the playoffs. Probably going to run it back with Atlanta's bloody G League team.
You're running it back with
Sharpie, just for a second. Have you seen the score?
Oh my
we're
God.
down. We're down, aren't we?
He's up by
Have you
1.
seen the points?
Are we up by 1?
Yeah, up by 1.
What the hell?
What's your score?
96 to 97.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine hasn't.
Fournier has 39 points.
He
39 points.
He always
goes off
against the Celtics.
For God's
What a
sake.
king.
I'll be getting that game up on my phone.
This is actually hilarious.
Anyway,
right on cue though.
Continue
about
your
letdowns, and they're beating the Celtics.
Anyway, yeah. Well, besides this game here currently that's playing, as I quickly just get on KO and turn on the Knicks game. You know, it's just been like they've just been inconsistent as well. You know, which is disappointing. And the offense is still just give it to Randall. Even when he's off, it's still just give it to Randall. And it's gonna show in a couple of years why RJ Barrett has not grown as a player. It's just because the whole time he's been there, he's just been told to sit in the corner, do nothing, wait for something to happen, and you might get the ball. It's been there when Alfred Payton was there, when Randall, you know, when his first year when he was there, and it was terrible to watch. You know, and it's going to be like that until either Tibbs goes or someone decides to change the game plan because it's not working.
Well, I put out a tweet when you played the Pacers after RJ had a 24 points in the first half. I put out a tweet saying he's not even going to score 10 in the second half because Randall will try to take over. Sure enough, Randall, I think he had 5 more shots and he made them. But
he did, at least he scored though. Like that's the thing. Yeah. Like if you're going to take over and miss all your shots, like that's when I'll get annoyed. Yeah. But if you're going to take over and then score, I don't know, 30 points and have 16 boards, you know, that's fine. They both shot the same percentage as well, different from 3, but they shot the same, which is good. Also, you know, you have Alec Burks and Emmanuel Quickly who chipped in there as well with their point. But also what was disappointing about that game, we only had 17 assists. That's pretty bad. That's what there was this, I can't remember. There was this dude in the G League yesterday who had 16 assists and like 11 boards or something. And, you know, he had a triple double with 16 assists. I thought that was impressive. Just off topic there quickly. But, you know, I thought that's pretty bad for an NBA team to have only 17 assists when you ever played like Josh Giddey who can get that any night.
Yeah.
Really. If
Fournier just set their career high with 38 points, Sharpie.
Yeah. Damn it. Boosting that trade value. Can't wait to next game where he has 0 points in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Big Danny
Bloody
Green.
hell. Maybe Toppin hasn't scored. RJ's got 9 points.
Yeah, look how many times he's been blocked.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be under B. It'd be under BA.
Before the time runs out anyway, I'll touch on my team. So I could go to any 3 teams. I had listed the Blazers, the Pacers, and the Hawks. But the Hawks, I don't really want to touch on because I don't like the Hawks. Pacers, I mean, they were only really an 8 seed last year. So I'll go to the
Goat.
Saban Goat, indeed. I'll go to the Blazers, though. I mean, they haven't had, obviously, they've had CJ McCollum miss a bit of time with his kidney issues and everything. And Lillard missed a bit of time for an injury that he's had for several years. But I think they're still been very disappointing so far. I mean, they're currently 14th or 13th in the West, which is ridiculous when they were 6th, I think, last year. They were outside the play-ins, so and comfortably in the playoffs. So I think it's just a bit ridiculous how that team's gone. And we've got a different topic about trades next, so whether they're one of the teams that we'll touch on. We'll have a quick break and we'll be back in a moment.
Okay, we're finally back after all this. This is going to be a pain to edit. Do not know what's going on there. Anyway, so Lockie,
that's a you problem.
You touched on your trade. Sharpie, do you want to touch on your trade or do you want me to go first? Because you're watching the Knicks.
I'll go first if I were you, Ollie.
Yeah, I'll go first. I've connected my Ethernet and everything, and I've made my mic. I've got my headset mic on, so it's not as clear. But I'm probably going to go with the Blazers, make it easy, blow it up. I mean, trade Lillard at this stage. I mean, you're in the lottery area anyway. You may as well try and get Simmons. And I mean, you're not going to be competing for a while. You may as well give up a 34-year-old Lillard or a very old Lillard for a young Ben Simmons. I know he might not want to stay there after his contract, but I think it's time to just get rid of him personally.
Yeah.
And just do something about your team. Your team's terrible. They're not going to do the trade for CJ McCollum. Otherwise, that would have been done months ago. But that's personally. Sharpie, do you have any?
Yeah, Westbrook for Buddy Hield. That's what should happen.
Another Westbrook trade. Jeez, you're lucky to get Buddy Hield, I'd think. I don't know if
very lucky they'd have to give up THT or something, I think.
Yeah. To take on that contract at least.
Either that or Pacers give up someone. I can't think, because Pacers were willing. I don't know if they are still now to listen to offers for someone. Either Sabonis, Miles Turner, or Brogdon. Brogdon being injury prone, I don't think they'll give it up. Any team would be really interested in him.
Well, last play of the game. Sorry to interrupt, Sharpie. There's 17 seconds left. Celtics with the ball down by 3. And there's a foul call at the free throw line.
At least it wasn't an M1. At least it wasn't an M1.
Well, it would have been interesting to see. I think they called it on the floor though, but they're in the bonus.
Yeah, but they're in the bonus.
Yeah, so I don't think it would have been.
So
behind. Do you miss one here if you Marcus Smart?
Oh, geez, that was soft.
Oh, it's Marcus Smart. What do you expect?
Anyway, so did you want to continue with yours, Sharpie? I think that
just after the second free throw, I will.
So Marcus Smart's made the first one.
Nick's got another
he literally tripped over.
Burks or Smart.
Burks. He slipped over into him.
They need to bring on quickly for these free
throws. Here we go. The goat's coming in.
There you go. 1 point. Who's the goat?
Yeah, so I think someone like Buddy Hield, who brings something to the defensive end as well. You know, he is not young either. I think he's about 27 or something. But
oh my God, that nearly could have been 5 seconds. Continue, Sharpie.
Oh my God, I thought Fournier was shooting it for the sake of it. Oh my Lord. Because I've got no volume on my thing because I got my headphones in. Yeah, I think for someone like Buddy Hield could probably help the Lakers out a bit. And, you know, there've been a lot of talks to bring in someone like Buddy Hield. He could probably help somewhere, and he's better than a lot of the other players that they have there. So whether Westbrook comes in.
Missed
You're
free
so
throw.
bad. You're
Missed,
so bad.
missed free throw by Randall, and they're
How
only
many
up by
times has he missed
one.
fucking free throws?
And this is the live reaction you
$110
get.
million for this shit. Fucking pathetic.
Well, I think Sharpie would be done with his trade talk about.
He had no points in the first quarter.
Oh, fuck me, you shit cunt.
This is going to be an R-rated podcast. Celtics don't have a
Fucking hell.
timeout. Here we go. So 12 seconds left. Down by 2. And Nick's nearly got a steal. Was that Mitchell Robinson tipping it away from Tatum? I think so. Geez, we should be a play-by-play commentary. Said no one ever. 8 seconds left now with the inbound. Here we go. Inbound to Tatum. Oh, driving in. Step back. Oh! Hits it with 1.5. And he's staring down the crowd. Geez. Still 1.5 seconds left. Sharpie, who do you want to get the ball here? Is it Randall or
Who
is
cares?
it Barrett?
He'll fucking lose anyway. I don't give a shit. Fucking Randall. Shit cunt.
I think we'll go to Fournier. But
Oh no, that is nasty.
Little push. That is dirty. He's looking at the crowd too. While it's a timeout, though, we'll move on to our next topic. We'll quickly touch on Clay coming back this weekend, apparently, according to Sharpie, which is good
According
for
to
the
everybody who follows basketball.
Yeah, well, I saw it, but I haven't read into it yet.
Jeez.
What I've been more worried about is the All-Star votes. So, for example, Kyrie has finished the first batch of votes with more votes than Van Vliet and Darius Garland combined. And he's played one game this year.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
And Carmelo's, I think, 6th in the voting in the forwards. And Derek Rose is 5th in his. Who else was there? Klay Thompson finished with more than Devin Booker and Chris Paul, which is, I think something.
Fan votes, bros. They're all.
What is it? 50%. 50% fan, and then 25 players, 25 coaches, and media or something. It's something like that. Anyway, 1.5 seconds left. Knicks with the ball. You'd presume that they're going to Fournier. You would have. What is? Oh! No! 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 Oh!
Is that RJ? Oh my goodness!
No
my goodness! Holy shit!
Oh my god! Wow! That is such a terrible shot. He's going away from his left hand and he banks it.
Huge.
He's going away from his left hand and he banks it in. Oh, look at the Celtics fans.
Wow. Does it count? Did it count though?
Yeah, no, it definitely counted. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Let's look. How much time? How? That's such good defense. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Oh, Randall goes straight to his kid.
I can't celebrate that much.
Oh my god.
0.3 to go. You got it up pretty much.
I'm still surprised they didn't go to Fournier.
Oh, Tatum could not have defended that any.
Did he bank that in, or did it just go?
Yeah. Tatum nearly blocked it.
If I'm Tatum, I'm not disappointed in that. Like, there's not much to do.
That's it.
Nah. I'd be more disappointed in Dennis Schroeder for that turnover.
Oh, that's
late in the game. That was just ridiculous.
I don't know. Oh, God. Well, we need to recover and finish off the pod. There's not much.
Knicks
Mitch Robinson's reaction.
25-point deficit in the win against Boston. This is the franchise largest comeback victory since March 2004 when they trailed by 26. So,
well, now I know what the title of the podcast is going to be. Moving on, we'll move off. I think that's enough NBA, relatively speaking. We'll move on to our weekly multi. Lockie, do you want to touch on yours first?
Yes. Let me just bring it up quickly. Where is those apps here? Sorry. So I did a bit of a mixture. I've got NFL and EPL.
Oh.
Yep.
It's
not just a basketball podcast here, Oliver. It's a sport podcast.
Well, all I'm going to say is the Premier League doesn't return for another week, so
yeah. Well, get over it. That's right. So I've gone Travis Kelce anytime touchdown scorer at $1.91 against the Broncos. Easy money. That should be lower. Green Bay to beat Detroit at $1.53. Shout out to Brad. Pittsburgh to beat Baltimore in Ben Roethlisberger's final game.
Jeez, and they're big underdogs at that.
Yeah, I think
Relatively.
Baltimore like $1.70 something and Pittsburgh were $2.70 something.
And
so it wasn't too bad. Then I've got Man City and Chelsea to draw. And then I've got United and Villa to draw as well. So I have no faith in us winning it. That's
and
the best outcome.
How much is the total payout for that?
If it gets up, it is $1,172.
Okay, what are the odds on it then? Like
$117.
Okay, Jesus.
In
All
total.
right. Jesus.
But you'll be laughing when it gets up.
Yeah, true. Sharpie, do you have yours ready?
Yeah, I do.
Since you're the only winner so far.
Yeah. So I've got Minnesota to beat OKC, obviously. Nuggets to beat Sacramento, obviously. Cavs to beat Trailblazers, and I've got Atlanta to beat the Lakers.
Not bad. So I have the Nets to beat the Bucs, the Bulls to beat the Wizards, the Nuggets to beat the Kings, the Cavs to beat the Blazers, the Packers to win, the Washington football team to win, Patriots to win, Saints to win, and the Chargers to win. And that's paying $34.61. So not too bad odds. I don't know what Sharp, do you have the odds on yours?
No, I do not. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Sorry.
Anyway, to finish off the NBA, we'll go to our weekly pick'em. So I've got one payoff to do. These blokes still need to decide on what it's going to be. I've only put it on them today. Maybe they can decide by the next week. So I've picked the Timberwolves versus the OKC game. The Timberwolves are -5.5. And Lockie, who have you gone with?
What was it? It was the Wolves and OKC.
Yeah, -5.5 for the Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves every day of the week. Anthony Edwards will absolutely go off. They'll have another game plan for Giddy. He won't. Yeah.
Sharpie.
Yeah.
Give us your exact response.
Pretty much the same as Lockie.
Okay. Well, I've gone OKC.
What did you say? What did you say earlier, Sharpie, about this?
What? Sorry.
What did you say earlier about this topic when we were talking?
I think he forgets. He's got too much going on in his mind.
Sorry, I've got too much.
all I'm saying is OKC lost to a full strength Timberwolves yesterday by only 8 points. So I'm going with the Thunder. Obviously, I have to go with the Thunder.
What was the line? -5.5.
Yep.
And they lost by 8 yesterday.
And we were down by 20 something during the game. So
that shows a lot, doesn't it?
Could go either way. That's typical Thunder fashion. That's it for the NBA. The final topic we'll touch on, I think everyone has to touch on, is Antonio Brown. I'll just bring up. So, do you want to give a bit of your thoughts on it, Lockie, before I share this part of the screen?
I don't know who to believe. I really don't. I've seen that many different things. I've seen messages that have been sent. I've heard Bruce Arians say that he said this and I said that. I'm just like, oh my God, can someone just, I don't know. I just can't believe Antonio Brown because of his history. He's just an absolute nuffy.
That is a well-written message that he put on his Instagram, though, whether he wrote it or not. It's perfect grammar and everything, but
I doubt that he would have written that.
He probably had a ghostwriter or something. He probably had a ghostwriter or something. But what I find
a lot going around though. Like he's got like torn like pretty much fully torn ligaments in his ankle and everything. Like,
Well,
yeah,
what I find surprising is like he said that, and that he said he couldn't perform, yet during the game he put an amazing route where he literally turned someone inside out with a stop-start basically halfway through the route. And I mean, if he had an ankle issue, it's just questionable. How can you do that if you've got all this stuff going on in your ankle? But then
I was reading the thing he put out on Instagram yesterday saying that they put some pretty strong painkillers in there that the NFL don't actually recommend, don't like doctors using. So I doubt he wouldn't have been able to feel anything.
Yeah. So these are the messages that that AB obviously shared. He doesn't care about privacy anymore. He also outed Tom Brady's trainer. Did you see that?
Yeah, because it was like something to do with 100K or something.
Yeah, he paid 100K and he didn't get any of the treatment. And I actually think the way that I forget his name for the life of me. The way he responded though, he was actually really professional. He didn't
quite professional. Yeah,
he's just like, I'll pay back the balance and everything, and
send me your account details.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty fair. But this is what BA the text messages. So obviously, this is BA. Make sure you're ready to go tomorrow. We're not resting for the playoffs. That was on Thursday, and then messages him a day later saying, "Call me." And then he sends a photo of him getting work done in his ankle, and he says, "I'm all in, coach. Really." Really, see, that's where you question if he wrote that message before.
Correct.
Really can't get to full speed. I want to win. Want to be there. If I wake up tomorrow, feel better, I'll be ready. Kind of rolled it outside on 2-point attempt play. I want what's best for the team. Let me know when you're free to call. Come see me in the morning. We'll talk it out. Definitely want you with us in this case. You're ready. Geesh, there is some terrible English on both sides of that.
Yep.
So who do you,
terrible reading?
Yeah, that too. Who do you believe in most?
I feel like there's more evidence siding with Antonio Brown,
and that I agree, and I that's so surprising.
I really do, but I don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
He's not going to win.
I really don't know. No.
Even if there is more evidence for him, he's not going to win. But if he got
his contract waived today, like he got his contract.
But if he's right, I mean, the Buccaneers are going to be in a load of shit, because if he's trying to get forced to play and everything,
yeah. But that's just the nature of sport, though. Like, you play through certain things. Like, if you can play through it, you play through it. Like, obviously, you've played through things. I've played through things. That's just what you do. But if it's that bad, I don't know. Like, from what it sounds like, he had pretty much a fully torn ligament in his ankle. Like, that's.
I think that if he's saying all this though, and he's sharing all this other, like, their conversations and stuff, will he share his results on his ankle? Will he? Like, I mean, that's the next step.
All this, you got to have evidence to back that up too.
I think that's the next step. I don't think. Do you think it's going to majorly affect the Bucs going into this? Nah. I think Brady's going to probably have that under control. He's been in a bit of he's been in worse.
But it does hurt him a little bit, because obviously Godwin's out for the rest of the year. Now they lost Antonio Brown as well. So they're they've gone from having a fully stacked offense to having like
nothing,
struggling to find other players to play a receiver. But Tom will make it work. He's a king.
And I mean, it's got to go through Lambeau, so it'll be interesting to see whether they can do it again.
But I tell you what, your Pats are looking good, but
yes,
they're actually looking all right.
I mean, I'm a bit worried after we lost to the Colts and the Bills.
Yeah,
that annoyed me. I just think there was talks about like who's the offensive rookie of the year between Jamar Chase and Mac Jones, and I mean,
it's got to be Jamar Chase. You
can't go past either one of them.
No, but Jamar Chase has been absolutely unreal.
And like what I find interesting is, like you said, discussed on TV, like if you put Jamar Chase with Mac Jones, I know this is you can't do it, but if you did, Mac Jones would probably be the because like Jamar Chase has got arguably a top 5 quarterback thrown to him in the league right now because Joe Burrow.
And they go from the same college. Like they literally have been playing with each other for the last 4 years.
And Joe Burrow's just been absolutely ridiculous this year. Whereas if you look at the Patriots, they probably haven't got a top 10 receiver in any, like they haven't got a top 10 receiver.
No.
But if they have,
you
question whether that would make a big difference.
They've got a good tight end, but
yes, Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, yeah,
he is a beast. But like you just question if they had one top 10 receiver, would that make a big difference with that? Even though they just do dump passes and all that, but
no, it definitely would.
Because he would just get so open, and with Mac Jones being able to read where to throw it. But I think that's an interesting discussion. Who will get that? Because I mean, both players have made a big difference to their team. I mean, Mac Jones has got us to
Jamar
the
Chase has just been. I think Jamar Chase has been on another level. He's obviously him and Joe, but like they're both the reason that Cincinnati all of a sudden actually on the radar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting awards thing. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has locked up MVP, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sadly, I don't like to admit it, but
he's a star.
Him or that what's his name for the Colts? Is it Taylor? I always get his running back. He's been
Justin Taylor.
I think so.
Justin Taylor, I think,
something like that.
Running back, he's been playing good.
Absolutely.
Even Diggs from
from Dallas.
Dallas as well.
All those interceptions, but
and
maybe even Sam Darnold.
Yeah, all right, that's the end of the podcast, isn't it? We're done there, aren't we?
Don't want to touch on the Panthers?
Definitely not. After starting, what were we, like 4-0 or something at the start of the year?
You got Cam Newton back.
Oh, fucking
all right, that's the end
he's like our Evan Fournier.
Has one good game. One good season.
Literally.
All right. I don't think Sharpie's there anymore. So thanks for joining us, Lockie.
No worries at all, mate. Good to be back.
Yep. We will have a podcast next week, but obviously we'll be at the horse races that weekend. So very keen for that.
Live one.
Yes. Oh, and we forgot to say that I'm pretty sure I've got COVID and Lockie's got COVID. So we think
we don't have our results back yet, but wouldn't be surprised.
My brother tested positive and he's very close contact. So I mean,
and I'm living with your other brother who is
yes,
to me right now.
And Lockie's got a new crib and a new background, as you can see.
Correct.
So,
correct.
Let's say it's a better place because actually no, it's worse because you can see another North Melbourne thing in the background.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening and goodbye.